So why do I like being part of Denmark and at the same time feel ambivalent about it? Um, I'm very thankful to Denmark. So why is it I'm so thankful at the same time can be like feeling hard times in being part of Denmark and sometimes wish myself in a total different place. It's a difficult thing to answer. Um, Being thankful to something and ambivalent about it at the same time. Um, well, I'm first and foremost thankful because it's a well-functioning society and country, and it's a place where you can get your basic needs covered without without having to starve and fall sick in your bed without any help. It's a well-organized country, a beautiful one, and very clean. It's mostly nice people on the surface when you meet them and talk to them. They are friendly and nice and exquisite. They are beautiful as well in their own way, and they keep to themselves and keep you to let you go your own ways. So there is a lot of space for freedom and tolerance and understanding, um, and the law protects you from a lot of the aggression that some people may hold. So why came I to be ambivalent at the same time? Because beneath all that, there are also a kind of spitting in the face and a kind of hidden racism and structural racism that also are felt not only by me but others. And it's very difficult to document this so people don't speak about it, and some will reject it so they don't get the Danish hammer falling on their heads for saying something about negative issues. And they do it in a very subtle way so people don't feel that they are persecuting anyone, but they sometimes can have the power to shut up, make people shut up. And so you can be ambivalent because you feel rejected and not really wanted, especially people from my culture and background. And I'm not saying I'm a victim of persecution and that. I have been personally, but that's not the idea here. It's that sometimes you just don't feel home and you don't feel that you're all that welcome. But at the same time, you feel these people are trying to welcome you, and you can have a place to live, and you can get basic needs covered, and people are dreaming of becoming part of the Danish society. And I know the songs, and I know the feelings and the passion for the games and football and handball and whatever we participate in here in Denmark. I would like them to win and prosper. I like talking to my neighbors and speaking Danish and telling about the Danish language and stories. So it's very much part of me. And at the same time, I can sometimes feel I hate it all and want to run away from it. And I wish sometimes I was part of a total different culture close to my original one, because maybe they would relate to me much more. Like you say about the Southern European, they can be impulsive and hot-headed and reactive in another way that maybe is closer to a Lebanese and people from Middle East than these very cold Nordic cultures can be. So this big difference can maybe be the reason. But basically, I can mostly and most of the time only look back and say I am thankful. I am glad and gracious. And still, things that comes up, and you feel, oh my God, is this also the face of Denmark? Like when I've been in Greenland for many years and started to understand the struggle of the Greenlanders and their trouble with the Danish society and some kind of indirect suppression and segregation and maybe taking over the jobs, and they have this feeling of only us are good enough. They send you these vibrations sometimes, and you cannot easily get into the Danish society as a group and not hold so good positions without getting comments on it. Even the most liked and loved personalities from another cultures, and I know one of them, he's been in politics, he can also sometimes get this Danish rejection felt on his own body. Even people who seems to like him for his views and democratic ideals, he has told me that sometimes it's sometimes not easy, because they also have this other side of you're not good enough and you're not Danish enough and you are, what are you actually doing here? So, and he could laugh on this because what is he doing here? What am I doing here? Yeah, that's a good question, but we are here not nonetheless. So why not deal with that instead of coming with this reactionary and that also has something to do with the level of education. Denmark is a very beautiful, nice country where people very well educated and peace-loving, and that's what makes it a nice place to be, because they are not seeking conflicts per se. At the same time, there is a level of mediocre thinking in the country, and sometimes you find people who know nothing about anything else than themselves and their small culture and small boundaries. And that has changed, of course, and it always changes because cultures are like a sea in a movement. The waves are not standing still; they are moving and in contact with new elements and shifting forward and backward. And so you cannot say one special thing about Denmark, but I have this very deep, thankful, and profound feeling of loyalty, and at the same time an ambivalent feeling of being rejected. And so I want to reject them back, and I want to be somewhere else, and maybe I wished I never got here and wasn't part of this society in particular, but a place much nicer and welcomer. I have also been in Norway for some part, and I could feel a little bit of difference because they have, especially in the northern areas, they have this much more easygoing, welcoming attitude over them, and they have also that kind of rejective mentality on the other side. People who really hate foreigners and really hate others than themselves. So it's like also an inner conflict in the Danish and Norwegian and Swedish societies, the Nordic societies, that they don't seem to be aligned with who they are, and that's why we keep seeing two or three faces all the time of who the Danes are and what they represent. And we are now part of Denmark. We are new Danes, but how deep, I don't know. And will things shift so much one time that we will be segregated or not welcome? I don't think, not in the horizon, but it could happen if things shift very badly and the world changes very, very strongly. So this feeling of rejection will become political reality. That is something that we have to deal with at that time. But as things are now, people are being more and more integrated in Denmark and being felt welcome, and also that they are part of society and can be workers, and they are getting used to saying strange names, both from Africa and Middle East and Asia, and now also from the Philippines and Ukraine. So they are also getting used to names that doesn't just resound their own well-known names, and that makes it easier just to get a life and be part of something. And we're starting to see also people involving in politics and involving in cultural activities on higher and higher levels, and they become consultants and become influential in many ways, people with another background. So we have also to see the sea of changes happening around us. So that's basically what I feel about Denmark. I'm mostly ambivalent because of what happened to me and the things I felt on my life, but also because of what I've learned from the Greenlandic relation with Denmark. It's also like a grateful but ambivalent relation, because you never know if it's the kind face or the abusing face that you're gonna meet, and that's difficult. And the Danes have to look inward in this, and they know they have these fractions, and they know there are people who have been misusing Greenland and misusing positions up there, and playing gods over this simple Arctic people, and at the same time keeping the goods mostly for themselves and not letting people into that circle of wellness. But that has been broken by the will of the Greenlandic people, and so there are also Danish people who reject that kind of treatment they've been through and support them all they can. So hopefully Denmark will stay that peace-loving and cherishable nation, and upholding human rights and the views of people as valuable in themselves, and that they can be part of a new community and a new contact and relation. it's wrong to build nations on the pure DNA or the pure racisms, because they can also falter and get very, very big illnesses in between them, and they can lose sight of the strengths in other cultures. And that's why people have to renew and open up and also see the strength in others and integrate that. And it has become a reality now. We see a flourishing culture diversity in Denmark, in not all places, but you can feel that people are getting used to each other more and more. And so the second and third generation are not having one like me in the class, so they can speak about his black hair and tease him with his background and his name. Now they have 5, 6, or 7, and still there are some trouble. I hear from some places that they are put together in different classes, or so sometimes they are not. It's like they walk in different groups. They are in the same class, but do not interact deeply, not under the surface, and that's what can be worrying as well. But things are changing, and I don't know, hopefully for the best. And the cooperation among cultures and different views and different people, all under the Danish umbrella and the Danish values of tolerance, understanding, and keeping this country safe and strong. And that's what I hope for my new country. And I love it, and at the same time ambivalent, because I never felt deeply welcome in it, and never been invited to it in the same way. I've been through a lot, and I talked about that in my early life, and that's maybe what makes it so special for me. But I hope for reconciliation, and also for the Greenlandic people to get that reconciliation and a good future in all.